Hello everybody, welcome to part 2 of the Warframe Beginners guide. Remember to subscribe for more videos like this. Hello everybody, welcome back to the part 2 guide of Warframe Beginners. Obviously the last one we were discussing various other things, but this time I want to discuss more things along the lines of the Codex. So straight into it, this is your Codex with your quests. If you ever get stuck on anything, your best bet is to shoot over to the Codex and go over to the quests that you want to start completing. Obviously some of them have prerequisites, as you can see one there, where you need to complete certain quests already, or if you haven't unlocked the nodes, which is why when I said to you earlier on about unlocking nodes on planets, why it's crucial to do so, because a lot of them are linked in with quests, various other things like invasions and stuff as well. The Codex does have a lot of useful things as well along the lines of learning about your companions. So obviously straight one here is your companions. It also includes your Kubrus and your sentinels and whatnot as well. Also shows you what you can and can't unlock, have or haven't unlocked, and what can be unlocked. Obviously if you've already completed it, it will show you. Another little thing here is just basically showing you stuff you scanned and stuff like that. It's always good, just basic information. I mean, it will tell you about them. It'll tell you various other bits and bobs. Some of it's a bit useless, some of it is useful. I mean, look, that's a sensor bar. It's about as useful as a chocolate fire guard, but there you go. But there is sometimes a lot of useful information on there that is good for you to know. Certainly when it comes down to the enemies, which I'll show you shortly. Obviously it doesn't show you things you haven't scanned. There's various bits and bobs that I haven't already scanned. I kind of stopped doing it after I got further in. There's all your Fisher relics and arcanes as well. Again, another useful thing to learn about stuff like that. It also shows you ones that you haven't already got. Now these ones are obviously the newer ones. And I haven't got many of them yet. I haven't really done the newer ones just at the moment. I've been busy with doing this guide and doing various other things in other games as well. A lot to come in the future. However, it does show you about your Warframes, and always useful to know because it also shows you what each Warframe can do, its abilities, shows you your Archwings as well. Obviously the Archwings are unlockable from the dojo in the clans, which is why it's important to get in the clans and get researching, because I think these ones are better than the original one. I'm after this one myself. I've unlocked most of it in the clan. However, we stopped to do the research on Scourge. Gives you bits and bobs of information on there. Useful, always useful. And more importantly, the enemies. Obviously every time you defeat an enemy, scan an enemy, various other things like that, you will put it into your Codex and it will give you its weaknesses. It will also give you a loot table, which is obviously very useful when you're trying to grind for things, things that you might need. It will show you there on your Codex, and it's easy enough to grab. So okay, somebody says, oh, a butcher, I'm sure he dropped something. Let's have a look at the butcher and see if he does. Oh yes he does, let's go and get it. So you're straight away knowing what you're after, and then it's just down to putting yourself on the planet that they are on, and also helping you to gear up your Warframe for its weaknesses. Now obviously we discussed various bits and bobs like that on the mods. This is where it comes into play. You find out about an enemy, you find out what its weakness is, you go after that enemy, and you will set up one of your loadouts for combating that enemy. That's obviously not taking into account your primed mods and various other bits and bobs. It's always useful though. Always useful, and it's always useful to know what you're going to get as well, because obviously if you're after a certain thing and you go onto the Earth planet and you're not after Rubido, it's pointless. So there you go. So that's a quick glance at this. Obviously there's a lot yet that I've to combat, which is quite surprising because I thought I'd combated most of the enemies. However, apparently there's quite a lot that I haven't, which was surprising, and I have unlocked most of the planets. So I'll be looking more into that. Another little thing for you to have a look at is this here. This is now you've probably been noticing some fragments around, Cephalon fragments. This is what this basically is. It gives you a little bit of lore. Also gives you some random pictures, but basically Cephalon in your ship. Obviously, it's a bit confusing because there are a few Cephalon Sudas, Cephalon Samaris. The one in your ship is the one whose memory's been lost, basically, and that's his fragments that are all over the place. As you start to unlock them, they go like this, so it's slightly blurred, and obviously if you haven't already done it, it doesn't show it at all. It's quite good. It's quite a bit of an extra thing. I mean, if you've only got one or two, it won't show you anything. But there you go. Always worth knowing. Your training section of your Codex, also very useful for new players. It will show you information about things. So obviously they introduced Melee 2.0, and this will discuss what Melee 2.0 actually is. Obviously, if you're just new to the game and you think to yourself, well, what is all these things that people keep mentioning? Go onto your Codex and have a read of it. It's a lot easier. I find it a lot easier. I mean, I've watched videos on Warframe for quite a while now. I've been obviously following Tactical Potato, which I've shown in the link on the first part of the beginner's guide. He spends a lot of time on the PC version. However, the PC version does filter down to the Xbox version, so I tend to stick to that and get myself in the know before it comes out on Xbox. 90% of the time everything comes onto the Xbox as is. Obviously it's adapted for user controllers and whatnot, and the gap between the two has now, I'd say it's probably a lot less than it used to be. When it first started, the games were very, very different, and unfortunately you couldn't really do that, but now it's kind of sticking together. The old trusty clans, obviously I mentioned this in part 1 again. This is just giving you a bit more information on clans and what they're actually about. It also tells you about how the dojos can be customised by the clan leaders and by his trusted officers, or whoever they've allowed. I mean, there really isn't a limit to what you can do member wise. It just gives you a bit of information about them. I'm strongly for clans because I think even though sometimes you don't get a lot of interaction between players in a clan, you've obviously got your research side of things, and it's just nice because the dojo is another area for you to go to. You've got your dueling sections, you've got your research sections, you've got a bit of playing around and whatnot. It gives you that little bit of extra as well. Obviously you need a clan key, which you get, so make sure you check that out. Okay, so this is the missions that I was on about. Obviously the different types. What I've suggested to you earlier is these two, which is survival and defense. They are crucial to your grinding, your getting your gear and whatnot. So let's have a quick gander at the marketplace. As already mentioned, marketplace is one of these where it does use platinum. However, there are various things on here that doesn't use platinum, and you've got to filter it out. A lot of the things you get can be purchased as a blueprint or as an item itself. Now, depending on how you're doing with your sales on your trading, depends on obviously whether or not you've got any platinum, obviously. Now, what I will say is save your platinum up. I will personally, I save my platinum up. However, I do have a bit of a stint where I'll go, you know what, I enjoy this game, I follow this game, I'm going to spend a little bit of dollar on it, and I will get one of the packs. Now, the latest one I got was the Mirage pack, which obviously gave me Mirage straight away, Mirage Prime that is. I tend to do that because I like to play the primes quite straight off from the bat, so I can enjoy them But a prime example here is the blueprint here. Obviously, if you look at it, if you press the RB, it gives you the blueprint to the weapon rather than the actual weapon itself. Then obviously the downside to it is you've then got to go and obviously get your gear to build it. However, it doesn't cost you a penny, other than the credits that obviously you're using, but the credits are all in-game acquired anyway, so obviously there's no requirement for your money. So that's, I mean, the marketplace is very, very useful for a lot of things. I'd say don't shy away from it. It's got a lot of weaponry on there that you can gain. I'd say personally, just avoid spending the platinum if you can help it, and spend the platinum on your slots so you can carry more things, have more primes. I've obviously discussed that in the past. If you're one of these where you like the art, you can obviously, such as this, the Lisset skin. Lisset's obviously your starter ship. I don't have the Lisset anymore, but I do have the Lisset, but I don't use it. And then you've got your various other things that the community's obviously generated. This is the Prime Vault at the moment. Obviously you get Loki and Ember. If you want to play it straight away, you can purchase them. But again, that's for actual money. That's the one I've purchased, the Mirage Prime Access Pack, which is really useful. That's obviously your various collections for your Warframes. Now these are generally created by the community, however some of them are developed by the dev team. And then obviously your Kubus as well, you can put new skins on them and stuff like that. Not everything has a blueprint, unfortunately. This is where you need to spend your money as well, if you want to. If you've got any platinum, if you've got a lot of platinum, get yourself one of these boosters. If you're on for a couple of days only, get yourself a 3-day booster, whack it on there. I'd say, depending on what you're doing, if you want to level up, get your affinity booster. If you want to get more cash, get your cash booster, and so forth. Syndicates. Now I mentioned this earlier on. I've mentioned it actually through quite a few of my videos. Syndicates are very, very useful, certainly for the relic packs. It's probably the cheapest way of getting your relic packs. So I've just purchased a few here. It gives you 3 at a time. I've maxed it out and I've spent it all onto the relic packs. I find it very easy to get Syndicate following. All you need to do is put one of the symbols on your Warframe through the customization, which we touched on at an earlier stage. But as you can see, there are a lot of mods available for each Syndicate, which are for various Warframes or weapons. These give your abilities a much I wouldn't say it's much better, but I'd say it's certainly an alternative. So for example, for Desecrate, for the Necros, it uses his health rather than his energy. When you've got a good build, you just keep him going and going and going and going. And it's brilliant that for when you're trying to grind for gear. If you have a Necros using the Desecrate with the Desecrate mod, he's never going to fail to give you 3 times the amount of stuff that you could possibly get, if not more. It's ridiculous how much he drops. Each Syndicate obviously offers a different end weaponry and end looks, and obviously certainly different mods. Now some of them do cross over, so you can get them from each other, but some of them are specific to each other as well. Obviously if you level one up, it usually decreases the other, which is what's obviously happened here. And my lovely friend there is telling me that we have no chance of working together. So one of them, unfortunate, but I'm leveling 4 up at the same time. I'd say I'm doing a pretty good job at the Syndicates. Now I've heard various things about that, so I'm not going to go into the PvP side of things. That's obviously where you get your news. Yeah, the Conclave, I think they may have terminated the Conclave, or at least they're terminating it for the temporary purpose. Now what I will say is this is what you're working towards. The War Within quest, and there is your operator. That's just something for you to see. That's something you're working towards. and a little bit of a teaser there for you. Your ship obviously has been adjusted and altered now. I won't go into too much in that, but you've now got your new, what should I call it, your new quarters, and you've got the infested section. So that is obviously where you purchase your slots for your Warframe, and that is my Necros. He is brilliant. You can see him in different standings. You can actually see him on his Arcwing if you want him to, which is that one there, and that's where you can adjust your Arcwing as well. Very useful to know, because it took me a while to work out where it was. All you do is go into your normal settings, and you can change it there, and you can obviously look at your weaponry and whatnot. Don't forget to do it, because if you're doing an Arcwing mission, you need these mods, and they can still be upgraded just the same as everything else. Obviously they don't affect you normally during the game, but then when you do the Arcwing mission, then the Arcwing mission will take these mods instead. Okay, so that's the majority of the things you need to know really as a basic start to the game. I certainly wouldn't say there's much more you need to know at this stage. There are loads of other little intricate things such as this, so obviously you can see how mods affect your abilities and whatnot, but until you fully understand the game, I wouldn't start looking at that. I will produce another video showing you the effects of different mods and stuff like that. Another thing to point out is your gear. This is the gear wheel here. This is available in game, so you need to collect these and build them in your foundry and place them onto your gear wheel. Various different things. This is where your scanner is. Obviously it shows you where you put your scanner and various stuff like that. That's obviously a useful thing to have within the game. On that note, I'm going to finish off here now. Remember, the clans, a useful thing to have, and that's mine there. You're always welcome to join at any time. Send me a message in game and I will get you into the clan. It is very, very useful to be in one. But I hope you've found some information off this video. Obviously if there's any questions or anything like that, please leave a comment in the comments section and I will try and get the answer to you. If I don't know it myself, I've got plenty of gamers who I game with on Warframe who are very knowledgeable on this game, and I will ensure that the answer is found for you and we will get back to you. If you'd like to see any more as a beginner or even as an advanced player where you'd like to, you know, maybe you've come back to the game, or maybe you're not sure on a few things, please leave me a message. I will be doing more and more videos about Warframe and various other games as well. This is just obviously a quick glance at the research section on the clan. That is one thing I mentioned earlier, so this is just to show you. This is the kind of stuff that you're looking for on your clan. So again, make sure you subscribe, and I will ensure there is plenty of videos on this game if you would like it. If there's anything where you thought maybe it's not been clearly explained or anything like that, then again, as always, leave the comment below. Remember to like the video, and I'll continue to try and produce more of them like this. But until that point, then I hope you've enjoyed the video, and thank you very much everybody for watching. Remember, when you subscribe, hit the bell button and it will advise you of when I've placed a new video up. Take care everybody, see you soon.